This is Doug Scheiding of Rogue Cookers, Texas Embedded Correspondent. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Really Big BBQ Central Show, a show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, and tonight especially the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, home of the world. Greetings. Hopefully, you guys are recording the All-Star Game, tuning in live to the Really Big Barbecue Show. I'm your program host, by the way, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you here. If you feel like joining in tonight, and you are highly encouraged to call in during both the interview segments in the first hour, maybe the second hour, but if you want to know how to get in touch with me, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. In case you didn't get the newsletter, coming up in about 12 minutes from now, it is the second Tuesday of the month of July. We have 5 months left, 4.5 months left, I guess, or so, if you're counting technically. 2019 rapidly coming to a close, but the second Tuesday of the month brings a visit from none other than the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website on the face of the earth. He has also pioneered the Pitmasters Club Forum. He's a part of this new Barbecue Stars series of videos that you can purchase. I'm not sure exactly how that whole thing works. You do have to pay a price. I don't know if you can pick who you want to see or if you just pay one entrance fee. Maybe somebody in the chat room knows about that can enlighten me a little bit. Or we could ask Meathead himself, I guess. But we have the 14 and 35 past the first hour segments ready to go with Meathead. We have a ton of Facebook questions. Not only do we have a ton of Facebook questions, but a lot of those Facebook questions are actually really good Facebook questions. So we do have a topic that we are going to be hitting on. Meathead slightly touched on it just in a very cursory sense last month, and he has really fired up this bandwagon of not agreeing with how Traeger is positioning itself in the gas grill market, or what they are saying to those people that have gas grills and that cook with gas grills. He is going to vent on that first, and then we will get to your multitude of Facebook questions after that. And that will wrap the first hour. Then we will move to the second hour, as we followed in 2019 a little earlier, a few months ago, a month or so ago, whatever. Big on this show always in the first part of the year is the BBQ Hall of Fame. And in doing that, we have had some guests that didn't make it into the Hall, or they were part of the 9 semifinalists, if that's what you want to call them. But tonight we do have a representative of one of the 2019 BBQ Hall of Fame induction recipients. That's probably not the right English, but that's all right. One of the inductees into the 2019 BBQ Hall of Fame. That's better. He was a guest on the show way back in 2012, believe it or not. It is the brand ambassador for Stubb's Barbecue and grandson of CB Stubblefield. Rocky Stubblefield will be joining me in the second hour, and we will be talking a little history again. I mean, if you haven't crawled all the way back through 7 years of archives, and there's more than that, by the way, but if you haven't crawled back through it, and you are just finding this show here over the last couple weeks, we'll get a little background on CB Stubblefield and how he started the barbecue passion, where that grew into business, and then, of course, how it grew into the juggernaut that it is today, and where they might look to grow. And then we'll also obviously talk about getting the news that CB Stubblefield has been inducted into the BBQ Hall of Fame and what that means to him being a grandson, obviously the other family members, people within the Stubbs business. And I'm kind of intrigued on, have they seen any type of uptick in sales or recognition or requests for media other than me because of the BBQ Hall of Fame? I know there were some thoughts that if you got into the barbecue, somehow you were going to magically find a new stream of wealth or a new level of fame, something along these lines. So we'll get the insight from Rocky Stubblefield in the second hour. That's who you got. Stubbs Barbecue, second hour. Meathead, first hour. Your phone calls and emails if you want to jump in. At BBQ Central Show on Twitter and Facebook if you want to follow me socially. Facebook is, at BBQ Central Show, Instagram and Twitter, /BBQ Central Show on the Facebook. So first, I want to thank everybody who called into the hotline over the past few days as I put a request out that if you wanted to cut an ID for the show, like, hey, this is Timmy in Louisiana, and you are listening to the BBQ Central Show, or if you wanted to say so, who knows. But I said at its very bare bones, if you wouldn't mind calling into the hotline, you don't have to talk to me. There isn't like 15 takes. Just gimmick up and let me have it over the phone, and then I'll do the rest. And I had easily 10, 11, maybe 12 new ones flow in over the last couple days. Such luminaries as Dino Dan, Gene Apicella, Jeff Stone, Sylvie Curry, Meat Mitch, Steve Ray, Stover, Terry Heil. Brisky Dorf called in, believe it or not. So Doug Scheiding was in. So a number of you have really stepped up and cut IDs for the show, which I like. It keeps it fresh, and they're on rotation, so you might not hear yourself today or next week or the week after that, but maybe the week after that. Who knows? So they just randomly get picked and shot up there. There'll be one, always one at the top of the show, always one at the top of the second hour, and one to close the show because they run right at the top of the hour. So there you have it, and thanks again to everybody that's called in to take part. Now, in keeping with the Mayo/Miracle Whip conversation that I had with Sam, the cooking guy, last week, I ran a poll on the tweeter the other day, and as expected, and no surprise to this guy, Mayo ran away with the win. 70% love Mayo, 30% love Miracle Whip, which means 30% of you are certifiably crazy, and 70% of you are Mensa status. And thank you to all those who voted. You know, for such a large Twitter following as I have, a little disappointed in the voter turnout, I guess. Lastly, and this is, a sports town in Cleveland, but this is not a sports show. However, I do have a hot take as it relates to the sports world, and specifically my favorite sport of all time, women's soccer. Please tell me that you watched the FIFA World Cup finals, because I did. And let me tell you something. That game was awesome. I mean, if you can't sit there and just love all over the footwork and the running and the passing and the kicking and the setting up and no scoring for like an hour, you just hate sports. You probably don't like yourself too much, but you definitely hate sports. Top that with the fact that this is the national team. So it's like double great. Who doesn't love soccer? Who doesn't love soccer? You know who? Me.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Is anyone even talking about this anymore? No. Can you name me more than 2 people on the team? No. Do you know why? Because it's soccer. And let me beat you to the punch. This is not a women/men thing either. I have 3 daughters. I'm really into women's rights, equal opportunity, equal pay, equal play, all that crap. At least the women's team wins. A lot, I might add. The men's team is horrible. They lose a lot. The women's team wins a lot, like world championships. The men's team can't even get out of whatever round it is to start. I can't even name one man on the soccer playing team. So to recap, lots of running, flopping, more running, and in 98 minutes, you can't get more than 2 total points scored. And if you disagree, that's fine. You are allowed to be wrong, but let me ask you this. Where does soccer rate in America? And I'm talking about professionally. I'll tell you where it rates. Just ahead of chess and just behind backgammon. I know what you're saying, Remp. You hate soccer. And you know what? You're right. I hate soccer. If soccer went away, you would never miss it. And the good news is there's a whole world around us that loves this stuff. Every other country in the world loves soccer. They live and die soccer. And you know what that makes the rest of the world? Wrong! I would run down the list of sports that are better, but we would have to turn this into a 4-hour show. Maybe Meathead has a take on that. He's coming up out of the break. I'm going to talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru, makers of award-winning barbecue rubs and... makers of automatic pit temperature control devices, right? Look, they've always believed that outdoor cooking should be easy and fun because it can be, especially with this new cooker called the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition Grill. The Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control and greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose cooking time, temperature. Let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pit master. And with minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill, and you can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. Now, if you have an automatic temperature-controlled device controller from the Barbecue Guru, you don't need to go out and buy a new one in order to hook it up to the Monolith. It has the draft fan already built into it, as I had mentioned. The first one ever to do that. You can just take your existing controller and then hook it right up to the fan. Away you go. Away you go. So fun. Now, if you want to upgrade that technology, that's on you. Give them a call at 800-288-GURU. You can also visit their website and see what they have at bbqguru.com. Very easy. They make it so simple. And remember, make sure that you ask all of your questions so you can make sure that you're buying all the right stuff. Make sure you are outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. That's what they say. All right, Meathead from AmazingRibs.com coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher's Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher Barbecue products are tested on the competition circuit as well as in the backyards worldwide. So don't forget, you can be the pit master of your neighborhood by visiting butcherbbq.com and stocking up now. Always trust your butcher. It is the second Tuesday of the month, and of course, that brings a visit from none other than the creator of AmazingRibs.com, Meathead. Hey, Meathead.
Hey, Greg, and hello, Centralites.
What's happening, Meathead?
Well, I'm listening to you ranting about soccer.
All right, get on it.
All right, listen, I'm a sports fan. I played
too.
a lot of sports when I had a flat stomach. And, but I never got into soccer, and I felt the same way.
Do you know why? Because you're from America, Meathead. Nobody likes soccer here.
Hey, you mean the world championship soccer country?
Yeah,
but I watched
great.
the entire match on Sunday. I just had to watch it.
One match.
It was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. I thought it was a really exciting match. You call it a match? What do you call it? A game? A pitch?
Soccer match.
They play on a pitch?
Yeah, play on the pitch. Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun. I saw a lot of skill. And yes, I can name Megan and Morgan and Rose and Crystal and Carly and Toby and Julie.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't name them on Saturday. But
Can you name any of the men?
No.
Of course
and
not.
They got their butts kicked this week, too, in some sort. It's interesting. The men were in some sort of Western Hemisphere championship or something. I think it was even here in Chicago against Mexico. They got their butts kicked on the same day as the women. I mean, what is with FIFA putting 2 championship games from opposite genders on the same day? I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, and you kind of proved my point, Meathead. I mean, you didn't take time out of the additional 4 weeks leading up to that championship game to watch even one match of the women, right?
I watched like 5 or 10 minutes, but one of the problems was they weren't really doing a great job of publicizing when the matches were being held.
Yeah.
But I followed it, but I did. I sat down and I haven't watched a full sporting game even through the basketball season since football season ended. And I just sat down Sunday in the easy chair and turned on the game before it started and watched it right through the award ceremony. And it was just a lot of fun, a lot of skill.
Sure.
A lot of talent.
Very athletic.
A lot of very pretty girls, too, I might say.
Well,
I don't know.
We all know Meathead loves a leggy broad, right? No doubt about it. Meathead loves him some legs. Yes.
And, I thought it was interesting, the political aspects of it, that they're struggling for equal pay. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I'll see it again in 4 years.
I guess if that's when they're playing it, I will take your word for it. So and we had an onslaught of Facebook questions and some Instagram questions. So I'm very happy that we're going to be able to dive into what appears to be almost maybe a baker's dozen or so. I don't know if we'll probably get to all of them, but certainly we'll try to get through most of them. But there is a topic to discuss at hand first, and then we will dig into these questions. And, last month, as I start to go back and try and trace where the fire started, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Last month, we were coming out of a commercial break. And it was, I forget exactly who it was, but it obviously had sparked something in Traeger with you. And you said, hey, does Traeger still sponsor the show? And I said, not this year, but they had done last year. And you said, well, good, because if they were sponsoring you, I might be saying something that might toss them askew. And you went briefly onto something that maybe they weren't being as business friendly as they should be, and we didn't really get into it too much, but it stuck with you, and you started to get after them a little bit on social media. So let's kind of run it back a little bit and get a full scope view of exactly what the issue is, and we can listen to the commercial as well if you're interested, and then we can dig into it more a little bit before we get into the Facebook stuff.
Yeah, it's stuck in my craw. If you have the commercial, why don't you cue it up before we go any further?
Right, stand by. Let me grab the audio here from the commercial, if it is. Well, I had it ready to go, of course, but all right, my phone's connecting. Yes. Oh, dear. Oh, the internet. How dare you.
While you're doing that,
Yes,
I'll
please.
just give our listeners the background.
Yeah, go ahead.
Greg is getting ready to play a new ad. Now, I haven't seen it over broadcast media. I don't know if Traeger is doing broadcast media, but I have seen it on the internet, on YouTube, as a lead-in to other videos. And I want to preface it by saying, and I know, this may be why they're doing this ad, because they're coaxing me into saying I like Traeger products. I like the Traeger grills. I like their new Bluetooth-driven pellet feed system. And Max Good, who shows up on your show occasionally, Test Grills, has given them high ratings. But they are running an ad that really aggravates the hell out of me and is beneath their dignity, and they ought to fire the ad agency that did it, and they ought to just pull the damn thing down. If it's an attempted humor, it fails.
All right, do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me cue it up. I do have
This is
it
an
here.
original.
All right, hold on. I got to pull it over into your screen here, Meathead, so I apologize.
Oh, you got the video.
Oh, sure. You know, this is a big deal over here. Okay. Let me run the sound back so everybody's ready. Blow it out. And here we go.
This is an original wood-fired Traeger grill. That's a propane gas grill. Hey, buddy, what flavor propane are you cooking with?
Gas. Smells like gas. Let's eat.
The problem with propane is when you cook with gas, your food tastes like gas.
Are you guys tasting this? Tastes like gas. This hot dog tastes like gas. Mine tastes like gas.
Smells like gas.
You can taste it. Tastes like gas.
This dude is cooking food that tastes like gas.
Perfect.
If you want...
All right, there we go. I cut it short just a little bit, but I mean, here's, well, finish what you're going to say, and then I'll jump in a little.
All right. Being an old fart and a little out of the flow, I didn't get the taste like ass double entendre, which I guess is apparently a popular saying, which Greg, who is hipper than I, informed me that that's a popular taste like ass. I am not familiar with that expression. I can see that there's that undertone, but just the idea that they would make people who cook with gas grills, or just make the false impression. Gas grills do not impart a flavor. There used to be a rumor that there was a mercaptan from sulfur smell and flavor. It's not true. Gas grills are perfectly fine tools, and I have one, and I use it occasionally. I don't use it all the time. I use pellets. I use gas. I use charcoal. I use them all. Has its place. There's nothing wrong with it. And the story that I told you when you interviewed me for the Pitmaster Club, and the story that sticks in my mind, because I'm a business person. I run a website, and I supervise some sales activities. And I never forget a lesson I learned when I was a boy. I was around 10 years old in the late 50s, and our black and white TV was on the fritz. And Dad said, you know, why don't we go out and look at these newfangled color TVs? Maybe we should get one and get rid of that old black and white TV. And in those days, there was no Best Buy. There was no electronics store where they had 20 different brands. You had to go to the General Electric store and the Philips store and the Zenith store and, Sears. And each one carried their own brand. And we spent the whole day bouncing around. And every store we went to, the Zenith guy told us, let me tell you about how bad the Philips is. And then the Philips guy would let me tell you how bad the General Electric is. And the GE guy would, let me tell you how bad. And we just heard this from stuff. We ended up, we didn't buy a goddamn thing.
Really?
And did not buy anything. We came back, and eventually we just got another black and white TV because they all were terrible, according to the sales reps. When you're out selling, and this is a lesson I tell our people, and this is a lesson for you, Traeger, when you're selling, if you've got a good product, and you do have a good product, sell the benefits. Sell what makes it a great product. Do not kick the competition in the teeth. Do not belittle them. Do not lower yourself and beneath your dignity. And I know that you're sitting there saying, well, it worked. We got Meathead to say we make good products. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just think if that's the goal, it's just not right. It's just sorry.
And you don't find it, so I would, playing devil's advocate, of course, saying that they had to use the run-up on propane and then say gas in order to run the rest of the joke or commercial, which is tastes like ass. So they're, in effect, are using gas to get to a punchline, which is nullifying gas. They're just saying it tastes bad because it tastes like ass. But you don't find that funny either.
No, and I don't. And I sent you a link today, and I don't know if you plan to play this one, but I sent you a link to a competing product. What was it?
It's Camp Chef. I got it right here.
Camp Chef. Camp Chef. Okay. Run a few seconds of this. Now, this is funny.
Bad grill is a sin. Repent. I'm the grill god, and I'm here to help. Grilling doesn't have to be this way. But here's the problem. You love five-star food, but you don't have the tools or the time to be a five-star chef. You call yourself the king of the patio, the grill master, the barbecue legend of the whole wide cul-de-sac. But on game day, you're the one who throws pre-cooked restaurant ribs on the grill, just so people will eat your cooking. Also a sin. But it's not your fault, son. It's your cooking options. First option, the traditional gas grill. Sure, gas is convenient and great for searing, but the only added flavor comes when you accidentally burn stuff. If this cow wanted to be cremated, he would have put it in his will. Second option, wood. If you want to do right by your meat, you cook it over a wood fire. It's the technique used by all the best chefs, bakers, and grillers in the world. But even if you are an expert, cooking with wood requires more time and patience than parenthood.
Oh, Daddy!
Not now. I'm babysitting.
So what will it be? Convenience?
All right. So point out where you think the differences are here.
Well, I you know, look, I'm not a student of comedy, but I think you know, it's just funnier. It's just funnier.
You don't think that they are taking unnecessary shots at other sectors of the industry, like you think they're just taking a run at, like Traeger's taking a run at gas grill at the lowest level?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I just yesterday, there's a website called Quora, and if you guys haven't found it, it's kind of cool. You can go to Quora and you can ask any question you want under the sun. And in theory, some expert is out there listening and will answer. And a lot of people ask questions about cooking and grilling, and they ask me and other people who are into barbecue and grilling or meat or whatever. And the question was, if I buy a Traeger, am I cheating? And I just thought that was so typical of so many questions we hear. Is pellet smokers cheating? And, you know, my answer was, well, if you hate good food, then perhaps you could call it cheating. But if you really want to be pure and true, go out in the backyard, dig a hole, set fire to some tree trunks, throw them in there, get some saplings, lay it over the top, and put your meat on top, because that's traditional barbecue. If you're cooking in any kind of steel tank, tub, buoy, or grill, you've strayed from tradition.
Yep. Meathead.
Hey, Greg, my screen's frozen. I don't know about other people.
No, you're fine here, so let's just stick with it for now.
Okay.
Meathead talking with me from AmazingRibs.com. All right, so you think poor idea, poor execution, maybe a decent thought at a high level, but there's no reason to be, as you say, kind of lowering themselves beneath what they should.
Sophomoric, puerile, childish, uncool, and inaccurate, fake news, unfair, and they just I'm not alone. I think they did themselves, lost an opportunity. And so it just frustrates me, because I think there's a lot of really good gas grills out there, and you can make really good food on a gas grill.
Yeah, and I have one, and I use it quite a bit, I might add. So I love it. Also, I have a number of pellet cookers, which I use, and I have a Lang that I use. So I'm a big believer in having all the options at your disposal if you can.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Traeger stuff. Let's go ahead and start answering some of these questions as time is dwindling, of course. Let me ask you this to lead off, Meathead. Are you going to some type of sous vide summit this year?
Yeah, you know.
What the hell is that?
Your favorite topic, I know.
I mean, I have to be honest. While I haven't become like, I see it in spurts where I use it in spurts. I'll do it for steak.
You do?
Sure, I do it with steak. I'll do chicken, but I don't do the pork butts and the briskets like
No.
these guys, because I don't believe in it. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I just don't believe
with it is growing, and my opinion of it is my very first opinion. And we're going back like 5 or 6 years. The first time I tried sous vide, I took a couple of ribeyes and I put one and did one nice big thick one, did reverse sear, and did another one sous vide, and then seared it over a hot charcoal fire, and came to the conclusion that the sous vide was more tender and more juicy, but the reverse sear was more flavorful. And I don't think much has changed. Now, the one thing I want to do before I go to this summit, it's a big conference. It runs, let's see, Friday, July 29th. Where's my glasses?
Coming up in a couple of weeks. Are the dudes that do sous vide everything YouTube channel going to be there?
Pardon me?
All right.
It's the 19th.
All right.
Where the hell are my glasses? If I had my glasses, I could find my glasses.
I wish they were on the top of your head so I could say, hey, they're on the top of you, but they're not.
Aggravating. But in any case, there they are. It's July 19th, and that's a Friday. Runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's in Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah, it's just east of Philadelphia. I don't even, it's essentially a suburb of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And they've got a bunch of sous vide luminaries, and I'm speaking on sous vide Q, which is the term we have given to sous vide with barbecue. And just for the uninitiated, I'm not going to give the whole sous vide spiel by now. Most people know what it is, but it's a technique for making sure you don't overcook food and that you make food tender and juicy by putting in a zipper bag, slipping the bag into warm water. And if you heat the water precisely, like 132 degrees for steak, it'll never go beyond 132. So you'll always have a medium rare steak. But when you take it out, it's butt ugly. And so you want to sear it. And most people sear it in a cast iron pan or on a stovetop, but you can sear it on a grill, or you can now take it and move it to the smoker. You can do a variety of things. And I'm going to talk about sous vide Q, from the sous vide bag to the barbecue and grill. And they've got a bunch of other speakers here. Some scientists, some chefs.
Anybody we know? Are the guys from Sous Vide Everything going to be on there?
I don't know how many of these people you know. There's Scott Heimendinger and Jason Logsdon and Eric Villegas, and I think these are the luminaries of the sous vide world. Huh. They probably don't know who Tuffy Stone and Myron Mixon are.
I doubt that, but
these are the Tuffy Stones and Myron Mixons and of the
sous vide world, right?
Sous vide world.
What kind of attendance are they expecting? What do you think?
I think they're calling for about 300 attendees. I know that one of the things is after I do my presentation that evening, I'm going to be cooking. Allen Brothers is supplying some steaks, and if you don't know Allen Brothers, they're not as high profile as Snake River Farms and some of the other guys, but they're specialists in USDA prime steaks to restaurants.
Yep.
And they're going to have a whole bunch of steaks there. They're going to sous vide a bunch of these steaks for me, and I'm going to sear them on top of a charcoal chimney, which is a technique that I pioneered. And I don't know for sure if I invented it, but I've been using it and propagating the concept. And it's a great way to finish a sous vide. You just fill a charcoal chimney about halfway with charcoal, and it's the back end of an F-16. It's like 1,000 degrees, and
wow.
It sears a steak in a minute or less. Flip, and you're done. And you get a gorgeous, and you can get a deep sear. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have 3 charcoal chimneys set up, and I'm going to be searing steaks for the crowds. So that should be fun. It's called the Sous Vide Summit. I don't have the link at my fingertips. I'm terrible. But I think if you just Google Sous Vide Summit, if not, drop me a note, meathead@amazingribs.com, and I'll send you info. I don't think it's terribly expensive. It does sound like it could be fun. If nothing else, there's going to be some good food.
All right, Meathead from AmazingRibs.com joining me here on the show. Meathead, stand by, and we'll come back with more Facebook questions here. So, hold on, Meathead. You just wait a damn minute. I got stuff to do. We are going to talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. Hold that thought, Meathead. Don't forget, write it down. Green Mountain Grills are some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. Look at that. Editing on the fly. Look at you. I like it. Green Mountain Grills have some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. They have now 2 different product lines to choose from. They have the classic or the traditional line, which is, I have one of those. And they have the Jim Bowie, the Daniel Boone. Davy Crockett is held separately because that kind of is a model they renovate first before they bring over some of the other stuff to the bigger models. Then, earlier in the year, they introduced the Prime line. This has a heavier chassis build, yes. It also has a peek-in window in the main cooking chamber. It also has a peek-in window in the pellet hopper. They have 2, not 1, but 2 internal meat thermometers. And, of course, all the accessories that you need to make sure that they are ready to rock. They have the wood pellets that you might need. They have sauces and rubs, other accessories, everything you need to make your pellet cooking life great. It's Green Mountain Grills. Again, the website, greenmountaingrills.com. And you can check them out by visiting their website. You can also find where their dealers are at because they only sell through dealers. It's not online or anything like that. So you can make sure you're educated, you're ready to use that thing, and that you're not going to wonder what the hell you should be doing next. Jason Baker and the gang over there believe that a dealer network is the way to go so they can train the dealers train the customers, and everybody is in the know going forward. More Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are back. This portion of the show brought to you by CookingPellets.com. If you have a Green Mountain Grill or a Traeger or a Cook Shack or a Mac or any one of those and you want a great source for pellets, Cookin' Pellets is your place to go. Visit CookingPellets.com, COOKIN, CookingPellets.com, or you can also purchase on Amazon. And we are visiting with Meathead. Meathead, you also wanted to mention that Barbecue Stars thing real quick?
Well, you were talking about it in your preamble.
Yes, I was.
This is, there's a program out there called Master Classes. Google that if you want. It's really interesting, and this is modeled on that. Master Classes, you can pay a flat fee, and they have a series of video classes taught by top professionals. Steven Spielberg is teaching how to direct a movie, that kind of thing. Thomas Keller is teaching cooking. They have several other people, and Aaron Franklin is teaching barbecue. Well, this is a Barbecue Stars program. It's separate, but it runs similarly. They've brought about 11 of us, Tuffy, myself, Harry Sue, Ariane Dogan, who is the queen of foie gras and game meats, and the guys who founded the Steak Cook-Off Association. And Kent, I forget the guy's last name, Kent Rollins, I think, the cowboy cook. He's expert in chuck wagon cooking. And each of us are doing about 8 or 10 short videos for these master classes, Barbecue Stars classes. And you can buy the whole program, and you'll see all of them, all 11 of us, all 8 or 10 of our. So you get like 80 or so videos for a flat fee. They had a pre-registration program, and I think it was $180, and that's closed now. They're going to reopen registration this fall. The classes will start broadcasting this fall. I haven't taped mine yet. I'm still writing the scripts. But it looks kind of fun. I'm going to work real hard to make some good videos for you. So keep your eyes out for that. If you don't subscribe to my newsletter, Smoke Signals, just go to AmazingRibs.com and subscribe, and I'll announce it when it starts airing. Plus, we announce all kinds of new stuff in our newsletter. So it just comes out once a month. We don't hector you with weekly or daily spam.
All right, Meathead, we have 2 crazy questions very quickly. Off to your left shoulder behind you, there's a top drawer that's open. What's in the top drawer?
Oh, my wallet, my car keys.
Walnut, car
Sunglasses,
keys, sunglasses, just general stuff.
oculares.
General house stuff.
I occasionally smoke a Peterson. And if anybody's a pipe smoker out there,
look at that.
They know Petersons. These are really great pipes. And the beauty of the Peterson is the hole is in the top of the tenon, not the end. So the hot smoke hits the roof of your mouth, not your tongue.
What does that do?
Important. Pardon?
Why is that important?
Well, your tongue is very sensitive, and if you're a taster,
yeah,
like I am, you don't want to burn your tongue. But the roof of your mouth has very few taste buds.
How often do you smoke that pipe?
Once a week. I used to smoke almost daily. Occasionally when I'm walking the dog. But if I'm going to, I'll have a good. I have 2 or 3 Petersons, and they're really good pipes.
What kind of a tobacco do you install in there? What's your blend of choice?
There's a local tobacco shop, and he's got a blend that he makes that I like. It's a Latakia blend, so it's a fine shred.
Also, what's the last question about pipe? Oh, do you inhale that stuff, or you just like roll it around your mouth and then?
It's too strong to inhale.
Much. Yeah, but
it has a lovely fragrance. Okay. It really does.
So how does it taste? Does it taste like a cigar kind of stuff?
Oh, the pipe tobacco is a more fragrant, aromatic flavor. I mean, it's the same kind of seductive smell you see at a barbecue competition with all those great hickory smoke flavors in the air. It's a different smell, but it's an attractive aroma like that. I've never found cigars attractive. I've never gotten into them. I had a lawyer who used to bring them in from Cuba when it was illegal, and I just never got into cigars.
And do you thumb the top of the bowl there?
Not with my thumb, but I have a tamper that I'll tamp it down with.
Yeah, but don't like pipe smokers put their thumb over it while they're drawing or something to like.
No, that'll raise a blister. I won't do that. No.
All right, I'm just trying to think of all the pipe wives' tales and husbands' tales.
If you do it right, though, you shouldn't have to light it more than once.
Oh, all right. So you got to be like drawing on that thing fairly regular.
Very gently, and that's part of the beauty of having a good pipe is that it's insulated, it holds the heat, and it doesn't let the fire go out.
All right, well, it sounds like we need to be doing a masterclass on pipe smoking. Forget this barbecue shit.
Not me, but I do enjoy it occasionally.
All right, question from Diane Me, Loyal Centralite, who has for years put a self-imposed ban from listening to the show because of my stick-to-itiveness on the horse meat program, but nevertheless. She asks, I need to defrost a frozen 18-pound cryovac brisket in 24 hours. Is this realistically possible? And if so, how would you do it?
By the way, it's good to see you, Diane. We've never really communicated directly, but I know who you are and I follow you, and I'm honored that you would ask a question. I just posted in the YouTube chat a link where I've written about defrosting. The problem is, and she probably knows this, why she's asking, is brisket. It's a big, thick cut. You can actually defrost thin cuts in hot water. And there's an article on that link that I posted from researchers where they tested thinner cuts like 1-inch steak or chicken breast and stuff. You can actually put it in hot water. All right, here's the theory. Air is a lousy conductor, as you know, because when you cook on a smoker, you're warming the meat with warm air. And it takes forever to cook a brisket because the air is not conducting a lot of heat. Whereas if you were cooking sous vide, the food is submerged in water. It's in a plastic bag, but water conducts heat better. And so if you take a brisket and put it in a beer cooler and fill it with 40-degree water, which is, will keep the bacteria from growing. It's still only 8 degrees above freezing, but it's 8 degrees warmer than that frozen brisket. And that 8 degrees is sufficient to draw a lot of heat in. It's just like cooking in a pit or sous videing, but it's at a much cooler temperature. So you're introducing heat to the exterior of the meat, and then that exterior of the meat transmits the heat down in. Now, will it get a 18-pound brisket done in 24 hours? That's interesting. I don't know the answer to that, but here's what I would suggest, and I've had some experience with this. With turkey, I have smoked a frozen turkey, and you can do it.
Straight from frozen?
Straight from the freezer. Hard as a rock, bowling ball hard. You can, so what I would try now, and if it fails, Diane, don't come after me. I would try putting it in cold water around 40 degrees, and that will probably defrost it most of the way. It may not get the deep, deep center, but you could still throw it in the pit. And while it's in the pit, it's going to thaw. And now it'll cook slower, perhaps, than normally because you've got a very cold center. But, you know, all this talk about take the brisket out of the fridge and let it sit at room temp, you can leave a brisket sit at room temp for 4 hours, and it's not coming up to room temp. It's still cold in that center. I've done this with a 2-inch steak. It takes like 3 hours for a 2-inch steak to come to room temp. So that cold center is going to be a cold center out of the fridge and out of the cooler. So it may not be too much different than normal. And if it does take a little longer, you'll be able to track it with your pit thermometer, and you just might benefit from a thicker bark because a cold center taking longer will probably dry out the surface more, and you might get a thicker bark. I don't know. It'd be really interesting to hear what you end up doing. But don't use the hot water technique on anything thicker than a 1-inch thick. But it just might work, you know, if you've got 24 hours into a 40-degree water bath, should defrost it most of the way, and then in the pit the rest of the way.
All right, there you go, Diane, and thanks for writing in. Next question is from Leonard Aberman, and he says, Meathead, I want to make pulled pork, but I want to try something other than the traditional rubs. Do you have a recipe for perhaps a Korean-style pulled pork, or maybe some other non-traditional pulled pork?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm really a fan of Asian flavors. You know, when you start talking Asian flavors, you're talking hoisin sauce, you're talking sesame oil, and 5-spice. Those are the core flavors that we identify with. I mean, now you can drill down even further, and you can get into some of the more exotic flavors. Of course, soy sauce, such things as that. Nuoc man, which either Vietnamese flavors, Thai flavors. I don't see any reason why you couldn't use a paste, you know, with gochujang. Gochujang is a hot, spicy soy paste, and it is. I'm just gonna. Oh, it's.
Is it Diane Me? It's Diane Me calling to thank you.
Yeah, Diane Me. It's spam call.
Wow.
By the way, I just posted it on my Twitter feed. Consumer Reports is there's a bill before Congress now about
Meathead. Let's stay on task. We're losing time. Let's talk about barbecue shit. Let's go.
Yeah, but this is really aggravating. I'm having a conversation with you and your audience, and that's a spam call. So fight against it. Ask your congressman to pass this bill.
Right.
Gochujang. I'd have to think about a rub that I might come up with, but I would definitely start with miso paste or gochujang, and you know, maybe some sesame oil and soy sauces, and you know, go for some of those Asian flavors.
Nick Camacho writes, I initially planned to cook pulled pork for Independence Day, but we had a change of plans, and I ended up with a Costco vac pack of pork shoulder in my fridge for 5 days before panicking and cooking it because I was unsure I could put it in the freezer after being out that long. Can you touch on duration that meat can stay in the fridge how packaging affects that, and can you freeze meat after it's been in the fridge for 3 or 4 days?
Okay. First of all, if you keep your fridge temp below 38, between 32 and 38, not much is going to grow. So the bacterial spoilage is going to be minimal. You can probably go a week or longer, especially if it's in cryovac, which excludes oxygen. Now, oxygen is your other enemy. Bacteria will kill you, but oxygen will turn the flavor funny. And pork is more susceptible to that than beef. I mean, if you've ever tried, freezing pork, you know that you can freeze beef longer than you can pork. The pork fat gets rancid faster than beef fat does. So rancid. I don't think you've got a problem with a week or maybe even 2, especially in a cryovac. If it's at a low temp, it's important. Almost all you guys got good thermometers. If you've got a thermometer with a remote probe, put it in your fridge. Check your fridge. Make sure your fridge is between 32 and 38. Once you start getting up over 40, some bacteria, not all, can grow. So you want to keep it down under 38 if you can, and that will probably be safe.
All right, Raleigh Smoke is up next, and he asks, is gas heat really drier than wood/charcoal, or is that a myth?
No, I think it's a myth.
Here's what I've always come to understand about gas heat. If you're burning wood or you're burning charcoal next to a window, let's say, it just makes everything hot. If you burn a gas heater by a window, there's condensation that forms onto the window. So I would imagine that means it's a wetter heat.
Yes. There is one of the byproducts of burning natural gas and or propane is water vapor. And so gas and propane do produce water vapor, whereas charcoal and wood will not. So it is a moisture heat.
All right. Next up, Doug Scheiding is asking, have you ever done corned beef brined beef ribs, or do you have a recipe for it?
Doug, I love you, baby. Yeah, and it's exactly the same recipe as doing regular corned beef. Oh. You've got your bone in there, which you can easily remove, but you just make your basic corned beef brine recipe. And yes, we have one on AmazingRibs.com, and it really works. I mean, we were among the very first to start writing about corning your own beef and then smoking it and turning it into pastrami. Now every mommy and daddy blog has a pastrami recipe, most of which are stolen from me, but that's okay, fine. I mean, flattery. That corned beef recipe on my site, really a good one, really works well, really simple. Basically, you just need salt. You can add the other flavors if you want. They're not going to penetrate too deep. There's no requirement you leave the bone on. If you leave the bone on, the salt is going to penetrate only from 3 sides, top and the 2 sides. It's not going to penetrate through the bone, obviously. So it may take a little longer than it would for a corned beef. But if you take the bone off, it will behave just like a corned beef, and you can make corned beef out of it. And beef ribs have a lot of striation, a lot of marbling. They're more like a brisket point than a brisket flat. So yeah, a good reason to do that.
All right, next question is from Dennis Busso, and he asks, Meathead, have you done any testing on woods that may have mold, mildew, or other spots on them due to storage issues or other environmental conditions? I see this question come up all the time in chat rooms, and they want to know if the wood is safe to use.
I have not done testing on it, but I have pretty good reason to believe that it's probably not a great idea. I don't think you're likely to die, but molds do produce byproducts, some of which can be toxic. And burning it may not destroy it. And in fact, vaporizing it might, in fact, put it on your food. So really moldy wood, I would steer away from. In fact, I just faced a problem on the 4th of July, I went to pull my backwoods smoker out of, I haven't used it in a while, and boy, was she moldy in there. And I think a lot of people have encountered this, particularly Weber Smoky Mountains. They can get moldy, and you can burn it off, you can power wash it off. There's a bunch of ways to get rid of it, and I actually have a whole page devoted to that on the website. But you do want to get rid of it. I believe it. Now, I'm sharing belief, not fact. I'm sharing what I think is true, not something I have found out by testing. But I do believe it will affect the flavor.
All right, Mina, I think we got time for one more question. From Barbecue Hunk, what's the best barbecue song about barbecue or meat?
You know, I'm biased. You got my theme song
No,
handy there,
that
Greg?
got
You
lost.
haven't played it in a long time.
I know, that got lost in the shuffle somewhere, and I don't know where it is.
I have to send it to you. I mean, I wrote "You Can't Hurry Ribs, You Just Gotta Wait," with apologies to Diana Ross. That's one of my favorites. There's a whole bunch of them. There's the Chicken Cordon Blues by Steve Goodman, which is one of my favorites. The guy starts dating a vegetarian, and he's got the chicken cordon blues. See that chicken in the, see that dog running in the street. He's got a smile on his face because they let him eat meat. I have, again, a whole page. Go to AmazingRibs.com and search on music or tunes, one of those two words, where I have a long list of food-related music, and many of them are linked to Apple Tunes or other places where you can download. And there's so many good, I mean, and especially when you go back to the early jazz singers, Ma Rainey and, how about Louis Armstrong? It was written by his wife, Lil, but oh God, now I'm drawing a blank. The barbecue song that he sang, barbecue was code for a really pretty girl. Oh geez, what's the name of that damn song? Well, in any case, there's just a whole bunch of them, and they're a lot of fun, and I've got a long list of them. And I wrote the history of that barbecue song.
All right. Well, my goodness, we have raced through almost all of them. We got 3 holdovers for next month if they're relevant. What's OPP stand for there on the bottle, Mina?
Oh, other people's Pinot.
Oh, I got it. All right. I guessed it, but I mean, hey.
I didn't get the joke. Again, I'm a little I didn't get the joke until somebody explained it to me. But it's a really nice Pinot Gris. And I'm not a Pinot Gris fan. I think it's a pretty insipid grape. But this one is a really good one. And somebody let me just get over here to YouTube. Somebody's got to help me with that Louis Armstrong song. Help me. Well, I got to go look it up. All right.
We'll hit it. We'll hit it next month. All right. We'll send it to me in between, and we'll queue it up for next month. And send me the other Can't Hurry Ribs, and we'll have it ready to go.
Okay.
All right. In the meanwhile, you can head over to AmazingRibs.com. Check out Meathead over there. And as always, thanks for the time, Meathead. We'll see you next month.
Next month.
All right. There he is, Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Man, I can't believe I nailed OPP, Other People's Pinot. Man, I am so good. All right, that's Meathead. We are running up against the clock here for the second hour, so I will tell you this. Mid-September, and I don't have the date yet. I want to say, well, let me not befuddle myself. Let me see if I can quickly pull up the weekends here. So this would be September, is it the week of the 14th then? September 14th? Maybe it's the 21st. The 14th or the 21st. I'm going to be hosting the Grill Fest over in Hartville Hardware. More to come on that. But stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right. Thanks again to Meathead. And we are racing to meet the top. So, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, and you want to jump in, do it. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff Stone of Grandpa's Pride Barbecue from the Panhandle of Florida, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to. Hit me!
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 2 beef or wiener.
Oh, listen, Liberty, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. You have found the Barbecue Central Show. Congratulations to you. If you've missed the first hour, fear not. The show is being recorded at the very same time as you hear it live, if you were hearing it live, and then it will be reproduced to you in podcast form starting in about an hour and 55 minutes from now. That will be hour number 1. You can check it out on Wednesday. And you can get the second hour, which is this hour, Thursday. How about that? Still to come on this show tonight, Rocky Stubblefield from Stubb's Famous Barbecue. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on Twitter and Instagram at BBQ Central Show. Also on Facebook /BBQ Central Show there. There's also a live video feed on Facebook. There's also a live video feed over on YouTube Live. We also have an audio stream only going on over at tunein.com. So we are available live however you would like to do it, on Facebook, on YouTube. If you don't want to look at me at all, which I certainly get, and you just want to get the audio feed and hear the show. It was originally meant to be a radio show. I'm doing air quotes. Then get it through TuneIn. All you have to do is go to my website, and at the very top, you see 3 big blocks that say YouTube Live and Facebook Live and audio stream. Live audio stream is your first one. YouTube Live is the middle. Facebook Live is the far right. 3 big blocks right there at the top before the posts start listing in chronological order. So if you've ever wanted to just hear the show and never watch the show, then pick the live audio stream. Save that to your browser. Download the TuneIn app and then save the Barbecue Central Show's audio channel. It's great. You'll love it. I did find the information on the Hartville Hardware 2019 Grill Fest. That is Saturday, September 21st, and I will be your master of ceremonies. Currently, Danielle Bennett will be the Traeger representative, and she'll be doing some live demos there. A couple other people that I am not intimately familiar with. Lisa Delgado will be on the Big Green Egg, and at the time of this email, which was roughly a month ago, there was no Weber chef confirmation, but there was one pending. Maybe I can con Kevin Coleman into getting the reins and heading there. We could have Kevin and Diva Q and myself. It would be like an old little family reunion right there in Hartville Hardware, which is the world's largest hardware store, by the way. So if you're going to be around the and this is a big general Cleveland. Everybody, general Cleveland. Anybody have a score on the All-Star game, by the way? If you're going to be around the general Cleveland area, and Hartville's a good hour south and then due east after that, and you want to check out the world's largest hardware store, they have a huge 3,000 square foot grilling facility with a bunch of different manufacturers there, a lot of accessories, a lot of specialty sauces, really cool place. I've emceed there once before, and then the year before I emceed, I also was a competitor on the ribs thing. I actually still have the ribs results here from 2016 Grill Fest. I was contestant number 10, and I finished somewhere in the middle of the pack. I finished 365 points out of 500 points. It was totally ripped. I want to get back into it because I had to go to a therapist after dealing with such crushing heartbreak. But if you want to see me live and in person doing like impromptu interviews with these demo pitmasters and chefs or whatever they build themselves as, then you want to check out the Grill Fest for Hartville Hardware on September 21st. I believe it's free to attend if you want to show up. There's probably a competition of some sort, which I'm not too familiar with at the moment, but I will share more of those details with you. So, hey, if you're within a couple hours, you want to hang out with the Remps on a weekend, man, let's do this. Let's do it. I would love it. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, we have, believe it or not, folks, I'm not even kidding when I say this, episode 80. Whoa. Episode 80 is on the docket for this coming Friday as we journey back to May 2014. Two guests. First time we ever had cookbook author extraordinaire and Weber cookbook author extraordinaire to boot, Jamie Purviance on the show. First time he ever appeared was May 2014. So you get to hear what that very first interview and meeting between Jamie and I sounded like. Also, believe it or not, this was a show where I got a phone call from none other than John Dawson of then Patio Daddy-O Barbecue. And we had what some would refer to as scintillating conversation about what? Caribou pork. All the way back 5 years ago when nobody, and I mean nobody, was using or talking about heritage breed hogs back then, except the one guy maybe, Jim Minion from the Pacific Northwest. Two Loose Screws, pitmaster, barbecue legend. Does anybody know who Jim Minion is? The guy that invented the Minion method. Have you ever heard of Jim Minion? Jim Minion should be in the BBQ Hall of Fame before any of those other people should be in. Well before you know who. Jim Minion is the way all of you start your cookers now. That's Jim Minion. Aside from the conversation that I had with John Dawson in 2014, nobody was using heritage breed hogs. Nobody was talking about the use of heritage breed hogs, except Jim when he was doing high-end catering. He was also using Wagyu beef at that point as well, and nobody was using that. So, John and I chopped it up on the Caribou point. So make sure that you subscribe to. Now, in order to get it, you don't have to subscribe to the podcast, although I would consider it a personal favor if you would subscribe to the show on whatever device that you have, iOS, Android, or the like. Whatever your podcast platform preference is, search for the show and then subscribe. And then every Friday, well, every Wednesday, the first hour of Tuesday's show will show up. Then every Thursday, the second hour of Tuesday's show shows up. And then Friday, the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less shows up. But you do have to be subscribed in order to get that. Now, in lieu of subscribing, if you don't want to do that, if you hate phones and you are not a huge fan of technology, but you do browse the internet from time to time, you can go to the website and find all of the archives of all of the shows ever made right there. That is the clearinghouse or the official archival of the show. It is the website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and you can get it there. But you got to visit every day. If you forget to go, you could miss it. You could get way behind, and you'd never find the coolest stuff ever. So here you go. I'm offering you ways to listen to the show and get the extra content that John Solberg is creating for you from my excellence from years and years ago. Giving you a look back. Plus, we link to that full show. So if you like the 20 minutes that you hear, 10 minutes on either side, you can get the whole 2-hour show. If it was still a 2-hour show back, I think it was. You can get that whole show and hear what some of the other guests might be or what I sounded like back then, or all that fun stuff. It's fun to go back into the archives and see how the show's changed or what's remained the same even. Now, let me switch gears back to the Traeger talk as I had with Meathead in the first hour. As he had said, there was a little bit of a... he didn't like the way that Traeger was bringing across their marketing. Said it was demeaning and cheap and sophomoric, not funny. Although Meathead did admit that he is no expert in comedy. And I believe I'm right in the fact that they had the Traeger was setting up the whole punchline of taste like ass. But you got to mix in gas in the front to get away with ass in the back, if you know what I mean. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Michael Quisenberry. I got that sound effect in the Dropbox. There you go. How about it? That's the guy that laughed when Michael Quisenberry decided to have Big Mo sign his boob. Remember that when I played it? Dude took up his shirt, had both of his boobs hanging out, and was like, sign my boobs. And Big Mo's eyes were like big as saucers. He's like, and he just turned to the right, started walking away, and the guy taking the video dropped this. Best laugh ever. Now, in order to be fair, regardless of how Meathead felt, I did ask Chad Ward to come on from Traeger during this segment at the top because I did have Rocky Stubblefield backing up. Give him the opportunity to rebut Meathead's take on their method of advertising or whatever point they were trying to get across. And I didn't get an immediate answer from Chad, but I did get one about an hour or so ago. He is not in the best cell phone coverage area, and I told him vacation. And that I told him I would touch base a post-show to try and set something up if he's interested. He might not have any interest in coming in, and he's certainly more entitled, or he's certainly entitled to not come on and address anything if he doesn't want to, but I wanted to make sure that both sides had equal opportunity, right? Rocky Stubblefield from Stubb's Barbecue coming up out of the break. Let me talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue. Established in 1882, Southside Market is the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. Famous for the original beef sausage. I love it. If you haven't tried it, you got to get some right now. They also have authentic Central Texas barbecue that they're selling. All meat, including the prime briskets, are smoked low and slow for many hours over real Texas post oak wood. They ship via the online store at southsidemarket.com. Shipping customers can choose to order now and ship later, include a custom gift note, and mail to multiple addresses without additional shipping charges. All shipped items are vacuum sealed to ensure freshness and ease of preparation for the customer as they arrive. The meats are processed in the on-site USDA inspected facility. On-site meat markets for fresh and smoked products. Custom orders are welcome too. You can have your eating desires quenched at 2 restaurants, Elgin, Texas, since 1882. They also have one in Bastrop, Texas, since 2014. Grocery distribution through Texas and many surrounding states. And here's the kicker. If you go to southsidemarket.com, that's southsidemarket.com, you can get 10% off your entire online order if you use promo code BBQ Central. One word, lowercase, BBQ Central. And again, that's 10% off the entire order, not your first order. But if you go back next week or the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that, you continue to use BBQ Central, you continue to get 10% off. If you don't want to save money, that's on you. If you want to save money, that's on me. And I got you, home. BBQ Central at checkout. Save you 10%. Rocky Stubblefield coming up next. Stick around. Be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. a man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible, bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or you can do it via Bluetooth if you would, Bluetooth, if you prefer. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant, you're in luck because Fireboard fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. The good folks over at Fireboard. All right, my next guest is the brand ambassador for one of my favorite commercially available sauces. Quite a story that goes along with the evolution of the company and the sauce itself. One that lands the founder in the BBQ Hall of Fame this year in 2019. So let's race over to the hotline, the Fogo Charcoal Hotline. And welcome back, friend of the show, Rocky Stubblefield. Rocky, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am absolutely fabulous, Rocky. Appreciate you joining me here this evening. And if you can believe it, Rocky, it has been 7 years since you've been on the show. So it's due for a refresh, and for good reason, by the way. So I guess before we get into some of the Hall of Fame stuff and so forth, can you give us a little bit of a background on yourself and how you got involved with the Stubbs brand?
Okay, well, Stubbs is my granddad, so kind of grew up in the barbecue business, and now I'm actually brand ambassador for the company. So me and my brother Reggie, we just go around promoting the sauce and, cooking barbecue for different retailers and grocery stores, all around the country. So
was there
kind of my background.
Was there an option for you not to do that, or did you just have a passion for it and wanted to stay in it?
Oh yeah. It was always an option for me not to do it, but because actually when I was growing up, I actually wanted to be like in the electronics business. I actually did that for a little bit, but then I decided I didn't want to do that, so I went to the family business and been there ever since.
When we talk about CB Stubblefield, your grandfather, for those that aren't as familiar, can you give us kind of a thumbnail on what CB's like, what you remember when you were growing up and kind of being around him, and what kind of a person he was like?
Oh, well, he was a great person. Really, growing up, he was so tall, so to me, he was just like a giant. And I just remember him always coming home with trays of barbecue because he spent most of his time at the restaurant, so he was, leaving early, coming home late. That's how it is when you got a restaurant. You got to spend all your time there if you want it to do well.
And originally, it's not like he got out of school and then opened up a barbecue business. He went into the military first, correct?
Yeah, he was in the military. He was actually a cook in the military, and that's where he, honed his cooking skills. And actually, he had some stories where he's cooking chili like on the tailpipe of a tank, just doing all kind of the crazy stuff, cooking chili on the pipe, and his love of music. He was actually playing music for soldiers out there. So he's always been with food and music.
Rocky Stubblefield joining me here on the show. So when he gets out of the military, is he immediately deciding that, hey, I want to keep cooking, or I want to get into the restaurant business, or did he try something else before the passion of cooking kind of took over and he said, hey, let's do a restaurant?
Yeah, he kind of studied barbecue for a little bit, worked under some other cooks, but, that was his goal, was for him to have his own place. And, in 1968, that's when his original restaurant started in Lubbock, Texas.
When does obviously barbecue lends itself to sauce and, all that stuff, but at what point does he decide that, because a lot of people will tell you, a lot of people tell me, I think I make a pretty good homemade barbecue sauce, and people will eat it and go, oh, this is something you got to get on the shelf. How does that part of the business grow for him, or how does he get involved into the initial part of selling stuff?
Really, it was came down to needing money. You know, his restaurants wasn't doing that good, and you know, he needed to make some money. And all his friends thought his sauce was so good that he should try to sell it. And that's what he did. You know, he started selling it out of the back of his Cadillac. You know, just going around at like little flea markets, trying to get in different grocery stores if he could, and you know, it just took off from there. So really, just some encouragement from friends and family.
Do you know how long ago that was, by chance?
I started selling the sauces in the early 90s, so 1990, 91 is when he actually started. Well, a little bit before, like 80, 88, 89 is when he was like selling himself, but when we actually got into stores was the 90s, 91.
Do you think that he would have been, I'm asking you to speculate, of course, but I mean, if we were in, well, we are in 2019, if he decided now that like to bring the sauce out, do you think given how crowded the market is right now, and it seems like, you know, in 89, I don't know if you could go down any grocery store aisle and find more than a few options in barbecue sauce. Now you go down and you have rubs and sauces and marinades. It might take up a whole aisle in a grocery store. I know it is here in Cleveland for me. Do you think he would be interested in trying to do that now, given the saturation of the market?
I think he still would have did it, but I mean, it is a lot harder now because, like you said, that barbecue aisle is just so crowded, and there's so many different sauces out there, you know. So, but I still think he would have did it because, you know, that was his passion, feeding people, and you know, he always said, "I want to feed the world," so he wanted people to try his sauce. So he would have still done it.
Originally, was it just you guys, and then there was a relationship with McCormick's after the fact, or were you guys always together?
No. Originally, it was just Stubb's company. McCormick didn't come around until 2015.
And is that just a business partnership, like to take it to the next level, if you will? I mean, everybody knows McCormick's, of course.
Yeah, well, actually, you know, McCormick actually bought the company in 2015. You know, when he first started out, he had a lot of investors that helped him get started. So by McCormick coming in and buying the company, that was able to pay back all our investors, you know, the money that they put into the company for them to get something out of it and to help take us to the next level. Because, you know, we kind of got to where we were just, you know, staying at one level. So trying to do more is, you know, it's a good thing.
So as a consumer of Stubb's products, as I am, I have noticed that there have been some changes to the product line. For instance, my favorite Stubb sauce of all time, which had the little green wrapper on it, and it was labeled mild when it was available, doesn't seem to be around any longer. Has the label changed and it's something else, or is it really gone?
No, mild is gone. Actually, mild was gone before McCormick.
Really?
It's been gone for a while.
So
yeah.
I just keep looking every week. I'm at the grocery store. I'm like, damn it, it's still not here. Was I the only one buying it or what?
Yeah, I guess so. You missed it. Yeah, Miles been gone for probably over 10 years. And mild really is just original with less pepper. That was the only difference between mild and original. It just had a little bit less pepper.
All right, so what are the most popular flavor? Like, I mean, can you look at the charts and say, okay, well, it's original or sweet heat, or, I mean, what's the most popular sauce right now in the Stubbs line?
Original is the most popular by far compared to any of them. Then the next closest would be like spicy and our sticky sweet. And then it just kind of goes down from there.
Rocky Stubblefield joining me here on the show. If you want to visit the website, by the way, Stubbs, S-T-U-B-B-S, StubbsBBQ.com. You can follow him at Stubbs BBQ Sauce on social media as well. Do you know any barbecue teams or grilling teams that actively use Stubbs products? Just a curiosity question.
Yeah, there are actually quite a few teams. We sponsor a lot of teams by just giving them sauce to compete with. Great White Barbecue is one of them. Let me think of some of the other ones.
Is it a lot of Texas-based teams, or it doesn't matter? It's all over the country.
No, it's all over the country. Yeah, if I usually, go out and if I see some teams, if they're using our product, I'll say, well, just, contact me and I'll give you a case, to compete with, because that helps us by them going out and, promoting it for us.
So we had talked about how competitive the market is a couple minutes ago. How does the Stubbs line try to continue to stand out from, what is kind of a crowded market segment? How do you attack that?
Really by sticking to who we are, doing it the way my granddad wanted it to be done, and keeping that Texas style, and going out and promoting it, doing what me and my brother Reggie do, just going across the country and getting it in people's mouths. That's the way we think, is if we can get somebody to taste it, then we got a customer.
How big are you guys compared to, like a Sweet Baby Ray's? I mean, obviously you talk about like Casey Masterpiece or Kraft or, that crap. I mean, it's widely available everywhere. But when you start to look at sauces that people actually like and think that taste good, Stubbs is one that comes right off the top of my head, at least here in the live fire sector. Sweet Baby Ray's is one that people talk about. How big are you guys?
Well, Stubbs is the number one premium brand in the country, and you could say in the world. Sweet Baby Ray's is number one overall. But as far as when it comes to being a premium sauce, Stubbs is number one.
What is how do you delineate premium sauce from not?
Really by, how you say, like we say, like craft beers, people, that are crafted or using higher ingredients, better quality ingredients than some of the other products out there. We're in glass, so most of the higher end barbecue sauces are in glass because they're actually cooked and then the bottle's filled. So we just, when you go to the gas station, you got your unleaded, your premium, and your super.
Yep. So let's transition a little bit into the Hall of Fame talk here. And I have, on this show, followed the BBQ Hall of Fame for a number of years for various reasons. And this year, when the list of, let's call it the 9 potential names were released, 3 of those would make up the class of 2019. CB Stubblefield was on it. Did you or anybody at Stubbs have any visibility on this BBQ Hall of Fame before 2019?
No, I didn't. Not at all.
Really?
I actually didn't even know he was nominated until one of the teams that we sponsored. It was actually Tommy Harold. He sent me a message and saying that Stubbs was nominated.
Wow. So when you, that's both hilarious and sad to me all at once for a number of reasons that you have no interest in. But when you so you get to the 9, and then that list is sent out to the active Hall of Fame membership, and then the nominating committee also gets a vote on that. And basically the top 3 of those 9 make up the 2019 BBQ Hall of Fame class. When you get the eventual call, or whoever gets it, saying that your grandfather is making it into the 2019 BBQ Hall of Fame, what kind of a reaction does that elicit from you and maybe some of the immediate family and the business folks? I mean, does it even register?
Oh yeah, it was an honor. To be nominated is just an honor. To be recognized, in a barbecue so big now. So to get that recognition was great. We were actually at the restaurant in Austin listening to your show when it was
really?
Getting ready to be announced.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So about this show. I mean, F the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, who even knows about that? Now,
everybody knows you.
So everybody was, you hear the name, and it's pretty, for what it is, it's a pretty big deal for you guys, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a great deal. It's a great honor, to be, be in the Hall of Fame and to be up there with all the barbecue greats,
Do you have any
much more you can ask for?
Do you have any thoughts, or do you know the other 2 guys, Wayne Monk from Lexington Barbecue over in North Carolina, and then of course John Bishop, Big Daddy over at Dreamland?
Yeah, Dreamland I'd heard of. I hadn't heard of Wayne. I hadn't heard of him before, but I've heard of Dreamland. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Dreamland?
No, I've never been to one, but I'm actually in North Carolina right now. So.
Oh, so maybe you'll head over to Wayne Monk's place and get some pork barbecue. Like, will you eat pork barbecue, or are you really like strong Texas?
No, I eat pork. Yeah, I am strong Texas, but I do some pulled pork every now and then.
So after you get the announcement, or after you hear the announcement that Stubbs makes it in, do you guys see over the next handful of weeks, because it's been a month or however long it's been since the announcement? Do you see any appreciable uptick in sales in the restaurants or for the sauce, or increase in requests to do media aside from this show because of the announcement, or no?
A little bit, not much right now, but there's a lot of people reaching out saying congratulations and all that stuff. But there was a lot of that. But, we're in the media a lot, so I couldn't really gauge how much difference it was. So
yeah, you're not seeing any major gains in gross revenues or anything like that from the announcement date until now, right?
Yeah, well, actually, the barbecue and the whole category is kind of leveled off right now. It's kind of the weather affecting everybody all around. There's so much rain everywhere, so
no doubt
people aren't grilling as much. But
so, does anybody from the Stubbs family or business plan to go to the ceremony at the American Royal in September then?
Oh, yeah, we'll be there. Me and my brother, Reggie, will be there, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some other people joining us up there. Yeah, we're ready to go up there and celebrate being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Who's going to be tasked with the speech giving?
That's probably going to be my job.
Oh, yeah. So are you feverishly penning out the speech?
I've been thinking about it. I hadn't wrote anything down yet, but I've been thinking what I should say.
Are you a comfortable public speaker?
I do it a lot, but I wouldn't say I'm comfortable. But that's part of my job, though, going around representing stuff.
Is there a pinnacle moment that you would guess would be something that your grandfather would look back and say, of all the time that I've been involved with barbecue, through the restaurant, through getting sauces to market and getting to a certain point, maybe TV show appearance, whatever the case may be, is there one thing that your grandfather would say, this was the best thing that's happened during my barbecue journey?
That's a good question. To me, it would be just the growth of the company and how available it is, because that's the one thing he wanted. He wanted people to taste his food. So for it to be in as many places as it is now, I think that's the one thing that he would be most proud about, because, he would always say, I want to feed the world. So, for his sauce to be as many places as it is in the U.S. and overseas, I think that would be the ideal thing for him, for that to be everywhere, for everybody to taste his sauce.
I think the coolest thing from a consumer's perspective, because I think sometimes, a company can get big or successful, you kind of lose track of who the owner is, or the guy that created all this might get kind of lost in the background given the success. But you see him on the David Letterman show. It was, early 90s or whenever it was, and he's doing the ribs with David Letterman, Paul Schaefer. And he seemed so magnetic and charismatic, and as you said, was just so interested in trying to let everybody taste what he's making. That was a great appearance. Is that something that you ever talked about?
A little bit, yeah. Actually, when he filmed that, it was I think 91. I was actually in high school when he filmed that show. So, yeah, he loved doing that, and like I said, being able to feed people, that was his main thing. As long as he could cook for people.
Rocky, where are you going to be out promoting, or going to be setting up to promote the brand and the Stubb stuff?
Well, right now we're in North Carolina. We're actually heading out to Harris Teeter's on Thursday, promoting actually just at their offices. We're going to be cooking for their offices. So we'll be in North Carolina for a few days. Then I'll head back to Texas, and we'll be doing some stuff in Texas after that. So,
all right. Well,
everybody, you can see the Stubbs trailer rolling down the road, I-20.
Nice. Stubbs Trail. I like it. Rocky Stubblefield, the brand ambassador for all the Stubbs barbecue products there. StubbsBBQ.com, the website. And you can pretty much find their products in any store that you go to. Rocky, thanks for coming on again tonight and giving us a little insight to your grandfather and, of course, the quick history again on the company. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There he is. The brand ambassador for Stubbs Barbecue, Rocky Stubblefield, catching us up after a 7-year hiatus. And I can't believe it's been 7 years. 2012 was the last time Rocky was on. Why is that moving? Stop that. And he appears via the Fogo charcoal hotline. Has anybody seen the... I mean, I don't know why you would if you're not looking for it, but doing due diligence for the show leads me to YouTube quite a bit. And if you haven't seen the Stubbs David Letterman appearance, I mean, that's pretty cool. If you've never seen CB Stubblefield at work doing his thing, it's a pretty cool segment. And as Rocky said, he's a pretty tall dude, by the way. Pretty tall. All-Star Game update, American League 4, National League 1, and Handy is on the mound. Watch out for the Handy. It's tough. He will get you out. He will get you out. The handyman can. All right, that was Rocky Stubblefield. We have open rest of the way to go. So if you want to jump in, more than happy to have you here. 216-220-0966. You can also email the show if you would like, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Anything you want to talk about, we can do it. I'll talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa's has something for everybody to become a better outdoor cook. They have those fabulous rubs and seasonings, 13 actually in total. Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, just a few to mention, plenty of other ones. They also have a great relationship with Steph Franklin and the gang over at Simply Marvelous Barbecue. They form the West Coast offense when you put them together. They own Granny's Barbecue Sauce. So if you're looking for a new go-to sauce, that might be one you want to try. And aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, they have a great selection of grills, right? Looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use? Check out that Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. If you're not a fan of pellet cookers, the old Hickory Ace BP is the one you might want to try. Only charcoal cooker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. And plenty more to choose from. Have any questions, give them a call, 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. You can shop their website at bigpapasmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA. Big Papa Smokers, plural.com. All right, we are back right after this to close out the show. Again, if you want to jump in, 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. Are you a barbecue competitor? Are you taking place in barbecue competitions, regardless of sanctioning body? If you're not signed up for the Smoking with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship, what are you waiting for? Registration after tax is free, so sign up today. SmokingWithSmithfield.com for all the details. Now, if you're already signed up and you want to see where you rank against all competitive barbecue cooks from across the country, again, regardless of sanctioning body, all you have to do is go over to SmokingWithSmithfield.com to check out your rank on the Smoking with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship leaderboard. As a matter of fact, let's see how accurate that is by going to the leaderboard. This week in competitive barbecue, view standings. Yes, we will do that. Let's see how many. See full standing. Do I want to see full standings? Why not? See how many teams are. 177 pages. Yikes. Oh. All right, let's go to team. Okay, so it looks like after review, 1,765 teams are signed up for the Smithfield National Barbecue Championship. At 1,765, we have a 6-way tie for DAL to include D&D Barbecue, Rudy Saenz, Rudy Reyna, Benny Alphin, Melvin McKeel, and Nakia White, Red, White, and Brew Barbecue. Those are your currently last place finishers, all with 160 points. The gap from last to second to last, a whopping 4 points, which finds a 1,760 rank, 164 points for Gary Chenault, or Chenault, whatever you like. Leading the National Barbecue Championship, and no surprise, they've had a good couple years, Boomerang Barbecue. How about that? Chris Hatcher is next. Jason Sagmiller is third. Lee Hickel is fourth. Getting Basted is fifth. Pig Chicka Cow Cow is sixth. Fred Robles is seventh. Eighth place, Bunch of Swines. Ninth place, Adam Gotro and Cajun Blaze Barbecue. And rounding out the top 10, Gil Martinez Jr. So, there you have your National Barbecue Championship rank, brought to you by Smithfield. Again, you need to sign up if you're a competitor. It's free. SmokingWithSmithfield.com. How about that? Here's how you get in touch with the show.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
According to ABC15.com, Hungry Thief steals wood chips, blender, and brisket from a Glendale Walmart. What do they call that? Damn it. How do they start out newscast? Location point, whatever. Glendale, Arizona. A hungry thief stole smoker wood chips, a blender, and beef brisket from a Glendale Walmart store. Glendale police report that last week they responded to the Walmart store near 59th Street and Northern Avenues for a shoplifting call. Store security reportedly told police that 30-year-old Justin Jacob Snyder was seen removing a security device from a KitchenAid blender. Now, if it's that stand blender, I don't know if blender and mixer are two different things. If, like barbecue and grilling. Are we going to get into a big fight over verbiage on blender or mixer? That's what I want to know. Dateline, yes. Dateline, Glendale, Arizona. Jeez Louise. It's like this is my first time ever doing this. I'm usually reporting from the breaking news desk. That's why I didn't do Dateline. So, do we agree that I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. KitchenAid blender is like a tube with the tines on the bottom, make a lot of noise. But the KitchenAid stand mixer is badass. I mean, that thing's like, what, $300? You can maybe get it on sale at QVC for $250 with some attachments. But it's robust, to say the least. They have a meat grinding adapter for the KitchenAid mixer, stand mixer, but maybe not the blender. I'm going with stand mixer. I'm changing the news story. Fake news. Security reportedly told police that 30-year-old Justin Jacob Snyder was seen removing security device from a KitchenAid stand mixer. Man's game, Justin. He then, if that wasn't enough, he then allegedly tried to leave the store with the blender, number one, smoker, wood chips, and a beef brisket. Court records show that Snyder did 7 years in prison for a drive-by shooting in 2007. Look out! Look out! Look out! Snyder has been charged with shoplifting, which, if we're keeping score, drive-by shooting, shoplifting, as we've seen previously, getting convicted in a some type of drive-by shooting. I don't know if he was the passenger or if he was the one actively shooting. It would seem to me that if you're pulling the trigger in the drive-by, you might get more than 7 years unless the guy you were trying to take out is like a really big POS. So, or maybe he was just sitting in the back seat. Like, hey, Justin Jacob Snyder, get in the car, man. We're going to go get ice cream cones at the Tasty Freeze. Okay, man. I'll jump in. Yeah. So then he jumps in. He has his $1.75 for the Tasty Freeze. He's going to go crazy. Get twist cone in a sugar cone. Get a twist ice cream in a sugar cone. He's going nuts. $1.75. Book it. Hey, Tasty Freeze is the other way, man. Don't worry, Justin Jacob Snyder. We just got to take care of a piece of business. What's that? Hey, there's Timmy in the parking lot. Damn, the police caught up to us at the Tasty Freeze. All right, boys, we're all going in. We ID'd you. You are bad drive-by shooters. Take the next 7 years in jail, Justin Jacob Snyder, and think about what a bad boy you were. What a bad boy I was. I just wanted to go to the Tasty Freeze and get a twist cone. I had $1.75. We'll take the 1 and the 5 out, and that's how many years in jail you're doing. Sorry, Justin Jacob Snyder. You're going to jail now. You are going to jail. Well, it's a shame. But it just goes to show you, too, that the price of brisket is worth stealing about. Or is worth stealing for. Come on. Really. Also, according to BuzzFeed.Inc., 16 what the F moments in food history that are creepy, weird, or both. And this is across the globe, by the way. Number 1, in Finland, there's a Burger King with a built-in sauna where you can bring your food in and eat it in the nude. Yeah, sure. I mean, if it's the one thing I've been waiting for, it's to eat fast food. I mean, I always feel kind of dirty if I have to go eat fast food. Like, there's roughly a billion other options that are better for you. Not as convenient as fast food. That's why they call it fast food. I want to hide in my car and eat it. I will only go inside and eat under protest. Like if the kids want to and they just want to not be in the car, under protest. I have no idea what would inspire anybody to put a sauna in a Burger King where you're going to take that food. In a sauna? Come on, man. John Dawson, nude BQ. Right. Thank you. That guy likes it. Is the rule no fish and no onions? Because the first bag that brings onions or extra onions or a fish sandwich into the sauna has ruined the sauna for life. Those smells and oils are racing into that wet wooden wall where they will live forever. Gross. I'm not going to take part in the nude fast food eating in Finland. I'm not. Not everybody in Finland can be beautiful and in shape, especially if you're eating at Burger King. I'm not saying that everybody that eats at Burger King is fat and ugly. Fat! But I'm also not saying that. Not tacos. Number 2 on the list, on June 17th, 1994. Remember this? In the midst of the infamous O.J. Simpson Bronco chase, Domino's Pizza had their busiest day on record. Up until that point, rivaling a typical Super Bowl Sunday. People were so enthralled by the bizarre nature of what was happening on television, they didn't want to miss a moment, so instead of going out to dinner or making it, many ordered pizza. OJBQ. Can everything be a BQ now? Sous vide BQ, OJBQ, nude BQ. I think I saw some other BQ in the chat room covering something else. I forget. Man, I didn't watch 1 second of the famous OJ slow speed Bronco chase because I was in college and I was uptown. You know what I'm saying? I'll check that on the highlights around 3 a.m. when I roll back in, literally. Third on the list, there's a snake village in Hanoi, Vietnam, where you can order Cobra blood wine. Cobra blood wine? Blood wine BQ. Everything's going to be BQ, right? Hunk BQ, Hunk Patrol BQ. It consists of a waiter taking a live cobra, killing it on the spot, draining its blood and heart into a shot of rice wine. Isn't that sake? Sake is rice wine, right? Well, that seems to be not so good for the cobra population. Too bad for the... How much does that cost, by the way? How much does it cost? I want to know. How much does it cost for the server to reach into the cobra basket, produce one, show me that it's alive, because I want to make sure that you're not going to F up the handling and it's going to wind up on my lap, and then kill it on the spot, draining the blood and heart. And heart, there's blood in the heart, into a shot. Shot? Where I come from, a shot is 1 ounce. That's gross. It's really gross. Number 4, also, there is so little chance that I will go, very far in this country. There's like 0% chance I will go to England. So there is whatever less than a 0% chances that I'm going to Hanoi, Vietnam. If Lieutenant Dan is going to be there, I might be there. But if Lieutenant Dan isn't going to be there, I'm damn sure not going to be there. Number 4 on the list, a man was making repairs to an industrialized steam cooker when his coworkers unknowingly loaded 12,000 pounds of tuna and turned it on. The man was cooked to death. What? Damn, D. That's brutality in its finest right there. Hey, man, the industrial steam cooker is not working. I got to go make some repairs. Yo, don't forget about me, dudes. Leave that 12,000 pounds of tuna where it is. Where's Timmy? I don't know. Meanwhile, there's like clanking going. Just load the 6 tons of tuna in there. We'll be back. Flip it on. Where's Timmy? Baked. Not that way. Cooked to death. Ugh. Number 5 on the list because it's funny. A 22-year-old man named Ronald McDonald was arrested after attempting to steal a safe from a Wendy's restaurant where he was an employee. Welcome to Wendy's. My name's Ronald McDonald. And I'll steal your shit. I will steal from you. I will do that. Ronald McDonald BQ. I did it. I mixed that shit in. I did it. All right, 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com if you want to jump in. If you missed it in the top of the second hour, the 2019 version of the Hartville Hardware Grill Fest will be taking place. That is September 21st? Hold on. I'm going to tell you right here, okay? Just bear with me. We're going off the cuff. I say that with peace and love, by the way. September, 21st. So if you're going to be around the Hartville Hardware, the Hartville, Ohio area, might want to stop in. They'll have lots of great samples. Diva Q will be doing live demos. Somebody else from Big Green Egg will be there that I've never heard of, and the Weber person is yet to be named. However, all day long, I will be your master of ceremonies, making witty rapier wit jokes, interacting with the crowd, little give and take. Might do a little comic relief, little impromptu, like make fun of the people in the first row, like they didn't know they were coming to the comedy show, all that fun stuff. That is September 21st at Hartville Hardware in Hartville, Ohio. Come on. You know you want it. Stick around. We'll wrap the show.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, there it is. Quick check. See if we are up to speed here. Yeah, we're good. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up all the way in the first hour. We had 2 segments with Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Broke down the 2019 Traeger incident, according to Meathead, saying propane has no taste, and going after people that use propane is beneath their dignity. No reaction from Chad Ward at the top of the second hour, but he's on vacation, so I will see if they care to offer one up next week. In the second hour, we talked with the brand ambassador for Stubb's Barbecue, Rocky Stubblefield, grandson of CB Stubblefield, who was inducted into the 2019 BBQ Hall of Fame. By the way, I don't know if you heard about it, but he had no idea that there was a BBQ Hall of Fame. Anybody hear about that? We learned about it when we were listening to your show for the announcement. You said that. Come on, Hall of Fame. StubbsBBQ.com. That's StubbsBBQ.com. Or North Carolina for a couple days and then heading back down to Texas. That was Rocky Stubblefield. And then we shared some weird food stories to close it out. How about that? All right. 216. Big show planned for you next week. Let me tease you. Dion Blumenrader comes back with a quarterly barbecue sauce business update. Steven Reichlin set to come back in. Of course, Robin Lindars will be coming in and making her triumphant return back to the Barbecue Central Show jungle. the pitmaster of Sugar's Barbecue, Leanne Oxley. Jammed. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until we join again at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday. This is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Yo, pod! This is Meat Mitch, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.